Hi everyone, I am going to tell a story about one of the crime drama films from 2023, Killers of the Flower Moon. Once upon a time, in the land of the Osage Nation, the elders buried a special pipe. They wandered through their reservation in Oklahoma, where every year, something magical happened. The flower moon appeared, covering the fields in beautiful blooms. During one of these walks, some Osage saw something extraordinary. Oil was spouting out from the ground. This made their tribe very rich because they owned the land and could earn money from the oil. But there was a problem. According to the law, white people had to control the money for many of the Osage, saying they couldn't handle it themselves. In 1919, a man named Ernest Burkhardt, who fought in World War I, came back to live with his brother, Byron, and his uncle, William King Hale, on their big ranch near the town of Fairfax. Hale was also known as King because he was a deputy sheriff and took care of cattle. He pretended to be nice to the Osage, giving them gifts and speaking their language, but he secretly didn't think much of them. While Hale was in charge, many Osage people died mysteriously, especially those who owned a lot of land. Ernest and Byron did a bad thing. They robbed some of the Osage people. Ernest met a woman named Molly Kyle, who was having trouble with a man named Pitts Beatty, who was supposed to help her with her money but wasn't doing a good job. Molly's family owned a lot of land with oil, so they were very rich. Ernest fell in love with Molly. Their connection deepens into romance, culminating in marriage and the upbringing of a family. Hale secretly told people to kill some of the rich Osage people so that Ernest could inherit their land. Molly's family had a lot of problems. Her sister Minnie got very sick and died. Her husband, Bill, got her land when she died. Hale said if Bill died too, Molly would get the land, and then Ernest would get it from her. After Minnie died, only 3 sisters were left, Retta, Anna, and Molly. Hale told Byron to kill another of Molly's sisters, Anna, because she was causing trouble. Byron worked with a man named Kelsey Morrison, and they killed Anna by shooting her in the head in a canyon. People in the Osage tribe blamed white people in the area for the murders and wanted to fight back. Bill married Retta after his first wife died. There was a big problem in the nearby town of Tulsa in 1921. White people destroyed a community of Native Americans and killed many of them. This made the Osage people very scared that the same thing could happen to them. When Lizzie, Molly's mother, died, she saw her ancestors welcoming her into the afterlife. Hale told Ernest to kill Molly's last sister and her husband, but Ernest couldn't do it. Instead, he made a deal with a man named Blackie Thompson to kill them for him. Ernest gave Blackie his fancy red car in exchange. But Blackie got caught by the police and told them everything. Hale punished Ernest by hitting him inside a secret building called a Masonic temple. Hale was very powerful in the town, and he controlled the sheriff and the judges, so nobody looked into the murders. Someone from the Osage tribe went to Washington, D.C. to ask for help again, but they were attacked and killed too. Molly hired a private detective, but Ernest and Byron scared him away. Hale and Ernest worked together to kill Molly's ex-husband, Henry, and make it look like a suicide. But the person who shot Henry did it wrong and made it look like a murder instead. Many of the Osage people started leaving because they were scared. Hale told Ernest to kill Retta and her husband by blowing up their house. Molly got all her family's land after they died. Even though she was very sick, she went to Washington, D.C. to ask for help from the president. Because of this, Hale told Ernest to poison Molly's medicine to make her sicker. Molly got very sick. The government sent an investigator named Thomas White to look into the murders, and he found out what was really happening. Some people saw Kelsey with Anna before she died, so they arrested him, and he told them everything. Hale tried to leave town, but he got caught because someone he paid to rob a bank got arrested too. Hale tried to kill the people who worked for him to keep them from talking, but Thomas White caught him in earnest. While Ernest was being questioned, 2 investigators went to see Molly and found her almost dead. They took her to the hospital, and the doctors found out she had been poisoned many times. But luckily, she got better. White convinced Ernest to tell the truth and testify against his uncle in court. Hale's lawyer tried to make Ernest change his story, but he didn't because he wanted to do the right thing for his family. Molly met with Ernest after he testified, but she left him. Many years later, people heard about what happened in a radio show. Hale and Ernest went to prison for the rest of their lives, even though the Osage people wanted them to stay there forever. Byron didn't go to jail because the jury couldn't decide if he was guilty or not. Some other people who helped Ernest were never punished because there wasn't enough proof. Molly divorced Ernest and married someone else, but she got sick and died when she was 50 years old. She was buried with her family, but nobody talked about the murders. The story ends with a scene of an Osage dance, showing that their culture still lives on.